Hey everybody, it's Wendy. In case you didn't know, David finally got off his butt and finished his book, True Crime and Consequences. The book is super educational and talks about the world of true crime and where it meets real investigations. It is perfect for everyone, from true crime fans like myself, to the true crime podcaster or YouTuber, to the amateur detective or web sleuth. And not to leave anyone out, you cops need to read this book too. True Crime and Consequences is available at murderpolicepodcast.com, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, well, pretty much anywhere you'd find a great book like this. So true crime fans, go get your copy today. If you've been searching for a true crime story that cuts to the core, one that's not only chilling, but heartbreakingly real, you've found it. This is a Murder Police Podcast special episode. This episode is Where Is Rhonda Day, airing on one of too many anniversaries of her disappearance. Warning, the podcast you're about to listen to may contain graphic descriptions of violent assaults, murder, and adult language. Listener discretion is advised.
Rhonda Faye Day was the kind of person who stopped to move turtles off the road. She was known to sit beside a hospital bed around the clock to care for her ailing grandmother. She had a sense of humor that could catch you off guard and a heart that pulled in anyone in need. She was a mother, a granddaughter, a sister, and to the people who loved her, she is everything.
On July 28, 2018, Rhonda Day vanished.
And what followed has left her family and anyone who learns about her asking the same question.
Where is Rhonda Day?
Rhonda grew up in a close-knit Kentucky family. Her Aunt Melissa remembers her as a curious child, always stopping to admire flowers and bugs, and often trailing behind her and her cousins on family walks. She loved animals, creeks, and was full of laughter. In essence, Rhonda was a Kentucky girl. In adulthood, that curiosity turned into compassion. Rhonda once showed up daily to change her cousin's surgical bandages so her aunt wouldn't have to leave work. She brought secondhand treasures home to her grandmother all the time.
Rhonda lived above her grandmother and took care of her, especially when she was in the hospital. Rhonda's family said she always came home because she didn't want her grandmother to worry. Rhonda even found a cat, a beautiful cat, that she gave to her grandmother, who still has the cat to this day.
The family said she never left home without her cat, highlighting her deep connection and love for animals. Another thing was that Rhonda was known for hiding hand-painted rocks in the park so kids could just stumble across them and find them. And she was also known around Bullitt County, where she lived, in Kentucky, by the people in the library system who regarded her as one of the most avid readers they'd ever seen. Rhonda had been married twice and had one son and two beautiful grandchildren. Despite her ups and downs, including a battle with drug addiction, she was, by all accounts, someone with a maternal heart and a deep love for her family. Her cousin Destiny remembers Rhonda's Thanksgiving cheesecakes and a childhood prank involving cat food that became family lore.
As in, Rhonda convinced someone to eat the cat litter after convincing them that it really was food.
So when Rhonda left her home in Lebanon Junction, Kentucky for a quick trip to Louisville on July 28, 2018, and never returned, her family knew something was very wrong. On that Saturday, July 28, 2018, Rhonda borrowed $5 for gas from her grandmother to visit a childhood friend in Louisville, a friend that she knew through a cousin. This trip to Louisville from Lebanon Junction, Kentucky is only about 30 or 40 minutes by car in good traffic. The family knows that she made it to a truck stop because surveillance footage at that truck stop showed her gassing up her car there.
Rhonda even called her grandmother that evening and told her, "I'm going to be a little later than usual, but I'll be home. You can lock the door if you need to."
That said, her grandmother left the door unlocked, but Rhonda never came home. The next morning, Rhonda's grandmother called family members in a panic. It was because Rhonda always came back home and never left for any significant amount of time or stayed away. At first, like a lot of families, they considered that maybe she just simply stayed the night at a friend's place. After all, Rhonda at the time of her disappearance was 42 years old and an adult woman and could make her mind up about things. But then another night passed with no word, and her chargers for her devices, her purse, and her cat remained at home. Melissa and the rest of the family then went ahead and called the police and reported her missing.
That marked the beginning of a nightmare that still hasn't ended.
The man that Rhonda visited that night lived on a road called Mariana Drive in the Pleasure Ridge Park, or what locals call PRP, area of Louisville, Kentucky. In a quick interview after she disappeared, he had told the family that he last saw her in the driveway at around 5 a.m. playing on her iPad in the car. He claimed that she waved to him and then drove away. But this is where it gets a little troubling.
Rhonda's phone and iPad chargers were left behind on her bed. Now, she took those devices, but she left the chargers.
For someone who used their devices frequently, that just doesn't add up for the family. And if she planned to leave for an extended period of time, why wouldn't Rhonda have taken those chargers with her? It certainly doesn't sound like someone who is planning to be gone for a very long time. Maybe even overnight. Sometime after her disappearance, the case gets a little more mysterious. Remember, she drove her car from Lebanon Junction, Kentucky to the PRP, or Pleasure Ridge Park neighborhood of Louisville. Her car was a blue Chevy Aveo, and it wasn't found until about 5 days after she disappeared and was last seen. Oddly enough, it was found abandoned in a refinery parking lot on Cane Run Road, which is just about 1.3 miles from the friend's house that she visited. Cane Run Road, by the way, runs parallel to the Ohio River in Kentucky. And the banks of the Ohio River are actually just several hundred feet away from Cane Run Road and that parking lot.
So the weird thing is, the family had already searched that area and didn't see Rhonda's car. So was the car there the entire time and the family missed it? Or was it placed there after her disappearance? And if so, why? And by whom?
In the family, they weren't the only ones to see the car. A witness later said that they had seen the vehicle on Sunday afternoon, the day after she was last seen. That leaves a narrow window for when the car could have been moved, or worse, staged. But the most shocking detail, when the vehicle was found, it wasn't impounded or processed by the police department. Instead, Rhonda's family was told to come pick it up. It's likely that the police department at that time still believed that Rhonda, as an adult, had simply gone to stay somewhere.
Sadly, any forensic evidence that might have existed, such as seat positions, gas tank levels, fingerprints, it was now compromised.
Rhonda's family launched their own investigation, as so many families do when a family member goes missing. They canvassed neighborhoods in that area. They went door to door and knocked on those doors. They asked for surveillance footage from the places that they visited. At one point, volunteers from the Crystal Rogers missing person case, which is a highly publicized missing person case from Bardstown, Kentucky, joined as a search team to help them look for Rhonda. Cadaver dogs were brought in to the friend's home and truck, but according to the family, nothing was found.
Oddly enough, the family remains confused about one thing. The man Rhonda visited never called to check in. He never offered any further information. He never even participated in the search. So the question the family has is this man a friend of Rhonda's or not?
Did he not check in or participate out of guilt? Was he simply disinterested? Or was there something darker afoot? When Rhonda Day went missing, she was last seen wearing black flip-flops and likely shorts and a tank top. Those were the comfortable clothes that she preferred. Rhonda was around 5 foot 4 inches, about 180 pounds, with blonde hair and green eyes. Rhonda had a tattoo on her leg that simply read Sunshine, which was a tribute to her son.
That tattoo is an important piece of information in a case like this.
Her phone, iPad, and car keys have never been recovered.
If Rhonda simply left home, you would think that there would be some phone activity, financial activity, sightings of her. But since her disappearance, there's been nothing.
Nothing. There's still no trace of Rhonda Faye Day. No Thanksgiving gatherings, Christmas mornings, no birthdays celebrated in the family the way they should be celebrated. Nothing. As in with any missing case, there are a lot of theories floating around, and the family has tried to think of anything and everything that would make sense out of Rhonda going missing. Some people believe Rhonda overdosed and someone near her panicked, disposing of her and any evidence that would have been there. As a person in drug addiction recovery, she, like others battling drug addiction, are very vulnerable to relapsing. The sad thing is, if they are with selfish people and they overdose, they are often discarded like trash. Other people think foul play was involved. Did something go wrong at her quote-unquote friend's house other than problem using drugs? Who knows?
If Rhonda in fact left her friend's house, did something happen to her after she left?
Maybe explaining why the car was found on Cane Run Road, not even 2 miles away from Mariana Drive. Still other people think she chose to disappear. Some think a pending court case was enough for her to abandon everything and everybody. The problem is, it was a relatively small court deal that she was facing. But we have to remember, sadly enough, sometimes people do walk away from everything that you and I would regard as precious. But her family disputes that to this day.
Everyone in her family believes that Rhonda would never abandon her grandmother, her son, her grandchildren, her cat. Rhonda really was trying to change her life for the better.
Rhonda would never let her family suffer like this. As they searched the riverbanks of the Ohio River, scanning crowds for familiar faces, waiting for a knock at the door or a phone call, and reacting to every news report when human remains are discovered for miles around the Louisville, Kentucky area and downriver, always wondering, what if? But Rhonda wouldn't do that.
Rhonda's family put it best. She didn't just disappear. Somebody knows something.
So here is what we are asking, our call to action.
Let's get justice for Rhonda Faye Day and answers for her family.
First, spread the word. Share this episode. Ask local news agencies to cover Rhonda's case as often as possible and keep her name alive.
If you know something, or if you overheard something at a party, or saw that blue Chevy Aveo in early August of 2018, or if maybe someone slipped up and told you something that they shouldn't know, or that maybe they didn't want you to know, it does matter.
No piece of information is too small. No observation is too minor. It could be the one thing that brings Rhonda home.
Please contact the Louisville Metro Police Department at 502-574-7111 or submit an anonymous tip by calling 502-574-LMPD. Let's get justice for Rhonda Faye Day. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Murder Police Podcast. Share Rhonda's story. Keep her search alive, because somewhere, someone knows what happened to her. Until next time, stay safe, stay aware, and never stop looking for Rhonda Day.
The Murder Police Podcast is hosted by Wendy and David Lyons and was created to honor the lives of crime victims, so their names are never forgotten. It is produced, recorded, and edited by David Lyons. The Murder Police Podcast can be found on your favorite Apple or Android podcast platform, as well as at murderpolicepodcast.com, where you will find show notes, transcripts, information about our presenters, and a link to the official Murder Police Podcast merch store, where you can purchase a huge variety of Murder Police Podcast swag. We are also on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, which is closed caption for those that are hearing impaired. Just search for the Murder Police Podcast and you will find us. If you have enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe for more and give us 5 stars and a written review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you download your podcasts. Make sure you set your player to automatically download new episodes so you get the new ones as soon as they drop. And please tell your friends. Lock it down, Judy.